Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another live session of Getty Talks. My name is Shilpi, and I'm the Relationship Manager with the Global Education and Training Institute. I have somebody from Lucknow itself. I know I have been taking you on a tour of India and abroad from the past month, but today I wanted to meet somebody from my own city. So I have Dr. Munila Naqvi, and she is the Assistant Professor of the Department of Commerce at the Bora Institute in Lucknow. She's here to actually to together we want to explore the opportunities for students who are studying economics, because usually when you study economics or you are into commerce, the only option that your parents show you is to be a CA, which is not everybody's cup of tea. So therefore she's here to explore and let you also know what are the different opportunities economic, that is her topic, career and opportunities. So she is not only just a professor, she's a poet and also a personality development trainer, and she has also created digital content. So she is a multifaceted personality, and that's what I'm going to discover as I get into a conversation with her after the show. So thank you, Dr. Naqvi, for joining the Disruptive Education Movement started by
Thank
Dr. Gandhi. And now it's over to you, and please let everybody know the opportunities available.
Thank you so much, Shilpi, for the warm welcome. And thank you, Getty Talks, for giving me this opportunity to be a part of this forum. And I feel extremely pleased and honored to be here and sharing the opportunities and the concepts about economics. Because what I believe personally, there are a number of myths associated with economics. People usually believe that if you are into economics, it's going to be a particularly boring thing. But today, I'll try to help you out in finding out what interesting opportunities you are going to have. You must have heard about CA, CS, and the teaching opportunities. Though I am already in the field of education, and I believe it is one of the most fascinated and exploring experience if you go into this. But I'm surely going to help you out in figuring out your level of interest. That what are the areas that you can cover in identifying that what actually is beneficial for you. So without taking any much time, I'll just begin with the session for which you all have been eagerly waiting. And even I'm eagerly waiting to share the thoughts and the opportunities of economics with you all. So the topic today is career options in economics. So first we need to find out what actually economics is. So next slide. Meaning of economics. So let's figure out what economics is. Next slide, please. Economics is basically a study of how scarce resources are utilized in such a manner that it results in generating higher profits or more economic activities. In easier way, what you can understand that it makes us understand to make the best use of limited resources within the limited span of time in order to generate unlimited results. So this is how it actually works in our practical life. This is not just a virtual definition. If you try to find out this actually how it works in our day-to-day life. So let's see what are the options available if you have economics in your bachelor's or master's and still you are confused about that what avenues you have at your doorstep. So I hope this session is surely going to help you out in identifying your area of interest. That's only my purpose. So next slide, please. Next, the main options that are available. The main options that you have are you can be an economist. Though it sounds really heavy, but believe me, it's not at all that heavy. If I'll help you out what it is, you will find it really easier. So please don't go by the terms, just try to find out what actually it contains and how you can be at that level. So you can be an economist, you can be an economic researcher, you can be an economic advisor, economic planner, and economic analyst. So one by one, we are going to take each of the topics and I'm going to tell you how you can reach to that level. If you have economics in your bachelor's and master's, then believe me, this session is all for you. I'm sure it will surely going to help you out. So let's begin with the first topic, that is economist. Next slide. Economist, what actually it is? Economist is a person who can work at the business level or the large scale organization or even at the economies. So what they do actually, they predict, they study, they evaluate, they assess the revenue and the trends in the economy. What happens usually? Economy consists of huge resources, and in order to get the entire information about it is not a single man's cup of tea. So it requires specialists, it requires economists who help in identifying and assessing the actual economic position. So what does it require to be an economist? So next slide please. Okay, in order to be an economist, first and foremost you need to have a bachelor's degree in economics, statistics, and mathematics. If you have any of these bachelors, believe me, you are at the urge of becoming an economist. Next, you need to have a master's in economics along with internship. Internship is basically mostly promoted because of the fact because internship helps you in identifying the practical reasons or the practicalities involved with the subject. And last but not the least, PhD in economics, though it's the highest attainable degree, so it requires that once you have gone through the entire process of research, you can easily assess the flaws and you can easily identify the research trends that are taking place in the economy. So if you have this qualification, economist is your choice, is at your choice. You can easily be an economist. Next slide. Next is it talks about economic researcher. Now, what is an economic researcher? Economic researcher is a person who identifies the economic problems related to production, distribution, monetary, and fiscal policies. These are just some of the facts. They can analyze any of the situation, any of the problem that is affecting the economy. Sometimes they work under the economist, or at times they work independently with any of the organizations. So if you have interest in entering the field of economics, so you can be an economic researcher, you can do the research work, but there are a number of qualifications that is required that you need to have in order to be an economic researcher. So what are the qualifications? Let's have a look. Okay, the qualification it requires, firstly, there is a condition regarding the age. It says that candidate should be between 21 to 30 years of age. And masters in economics, along with this, they have to be the experience, training experience. Next, it says that masters along with the experience, and PhD it requires. You will be like confused with the fact that at the age of 30, it's not possible for us to complete the PhD for most of the people, though some people completed within that duration only. But if you are enrolled into PhD and you are in the age, as stated, between 21 to 30, and you have the practical or the professional experience, you have masters, then you are eligible for this thing. They don't require a complete degree. If you have a completed degree, it's good enough. In case if you're not having a completed degree, you just have enrolled into PhD, that is enough to get yourself enrolled into this economic research. It requires a huge research work that those people can enjoy who have some bent of mind towards research, because it requires command over statistics and mathematics. So if you have command over statistics and mathematics and research, then only you can think of stepping into this step. Otherwise, it requires huge work. So this is about economic researcher. Next, see. Okay. Next is economic advisor. What is the role of economic advisor? Basically, economic advisor or financial advisor is usually the same thing. Sometimes you heard economic advisor, at times you heard the financial advisor. It's almost the same thing. What does it say? Their work is to advise the clients on the financial matters. So it's very much clear that finance is not as easy as it sounds. There are huge investments, huge security purchase, portfolio investment that cannot be done by any person. If you talk about a layman person, it's not that easy. They require support. So that support can be obtained only from a financial advisor or an economic advisor. So who can be an advisor? Now comes the question. So let's see who can be an advisor. Next slide. In order to be an advisor, what it requires, the minimum qualification it requires is a bachelor's degree. Along like that, they can be an intermediate, CA intermediate, ICA, ICWA, and other qualification like LLB and PhD. But minimum it requires, what minimum it talks about, that a bachelor's degree. Apart from that, if you have enrolled yourself as an advisor, the next step is that to get yourself a certificate. You need to get a certificate from the authority. there is an examination which is known as Series 7 or Series 63. This exam provides an authority to a person to be recognized as an official advisor. This exam is conducted once a year. By Series 7, it means this exam is conducted in United States. This exam is for the people who are not residing in India. So by clearing this exam, they get a license to be recognized as an advisor. Whereas this Series 63 examination, this is conducted in India only. It is conducted and it is valid for all over the India. If you have this license, you can work as an advisor in any part of the nation. So if you have enrolled this thing, you have to get it done. Next, it talks about, next slide. Next slide is says financial planner. What is the need of the financial planner? You must have heard about event planner, marriage planner, and any other type of planner, but you must have be thinking, what about financial planner? But believe me, this is something which is really important, something more important than the event planner. There is no event as important as managing your finances, because it is an assurance for a better tomorrow. If you are not making the right decisions today, you are not going to live a healthy or a happier tomorrow. So the purpose or the job of planner is to help the clients in finalizing, in deciding upon whether what they are doing or whether they are using their finances in the right direction or not. So they were hired just to make sure the investment that people have done, they had done it rightly or not. Though it sounds quite easy to help someone, if you have interest in finance, you can help someone, but it also requires certain qualifications. So what are the qualifications it requires? Next slide. The minimum qualification it requires is the same, bachelor's degree. Bachelor's degree from any institute, any recognized institute, but major masters can vary in any field. You need to have a bachelor's in commerce, but or management, but masters can vary. But usually people prefer having finance and then their masters, so that it would be easier for them to help out. But if you have enrolled as a planner, so next step is to, within 6 months, minimum 6 months, you have to get enrolled with in order to get a certified financial planning certificate. It is a course. This course is done within 6 months of your enrollment as a planner. Maximum of 3 years. This is the maximum duration that is assigned in order to get yourself enrolled into this course and get a certified financial planner certificate. Then only you can work as a planner. Otherwise, some organization or some people may contact you. But if it was find out, if it came to their knowledge that you are not having a proper certificate or the required license, your certification or you can be arrested or penalized. So it is required that if you are entering this field, no matter you have entered with a minimum qualification, but make sure that within the requisite or the stipulated time, you got through the entire procedure or you got this certificate, which assures you, or which gives you an authority to work freely and with complete liberty as a planner. So this is how you can be an economic planner or financial planner. The last topic that I have chosen for today, or the last avenue, next slide please, is financial analyst. This is something you have heard a number of times. In every organization, you'll be hearing about this financial analyst. So what is the job of this analyst? Their job is highly crucial, but if you come across their qualification, you will be really surprised. Even I was surprised. I was not well aware of the thought, but when I researched the entire thing, I was like, it came as a surprise to me as well. So let's see what is the job of the financial analyst. The job of the financial analyst is to assess, analyze the financial situation of the organization, and it requires the qualification. The qualification it requires is minimum, you need to have a bachelor's degree. Just a bachelor's degree is enough for yourself to get yourself with any of the organization as a financial analyst. So that's why people prefer, while hiring a person with a higher qualification, they prefer someone with MBA or some other professional degree. So that would be of great help. They believe that initially at bachelor's level, people were not well versed with the entire thing, but with the passage of time, the entire learning process is growing. So minimum it requires bachelor's degree. Otherwise, you have an option. You can upgrade yourself and you can attain the master's, and then you can continue with PhD or so on. But to enter the field, you just need to have a bachelor's. So these are some of the avenues which are available. Though you must have thought that it sounds really heavy and it won't be as cup of tea, but literally this is how it works. You just need to have a master's. You just need to have a bachelor's. If you have an interest in PhD, you can go for PhD. So these are the avenues open for you. These are just few. Apart from that, there are n number of things that are available to you. You can enter the field of teaching. You can try for banking. You can go for the Indian economic services. So if you have interest in economics, the entire economy is at your disposal. The entire floor is yours. You can decide upon as per your interest and as per your liking. So you can choose it wisely and think before that what you actually want to do. Because one thing I would like to just add, take it as a piece of advice, that always go for the thing or go for a field that interests you. That's your passion. That really helps you grow better and bigger. That's all from my side. Thank you. I hope this session has helped you out in identifying some of the opportunities or the avenues that are available.
Of course, I think so. Ma'am, in a very short time period, you have been able to cover a lot. And I wanted to ask you, for example, um, what are the subject combinations along with economics that can help, get more opportunities in the market?
Okay. This is such a wise question, and I guess most of the people, students, are confused with this thing only.
Yeah.
Just I would like to quote my example. I did my BCom, okay, and then I did MCom in applied economics. So you have this combination of applied economics. If you have a flair for economics, then what you can do, you can opt for BCom. Why I suggest BCom? Because BCom helps us in understanding the practicality of the subject. We study research, we study statistics, we study accounts, income tax. Every practical aspect has been taught to us. So if you have interest in economics, I would suggest do BCom. It will surely widen your approach and the dimension, and then you can go for the MCom. There is an option you can do MCom in pure commerce or in applied economics. I has a great interest in economics, so I opted for applied economics. I did my MCom in applied economics. Then you have this option. You can continue if you are satisfied with this much, then it's fine. Otherwise, you have option for PhD. You can go through the entrance examination, which are conducted worldwide. You can opt from any university. So BCom, I would suggest, is a wise decision, a wise combination. If you have interest in economics, then this is the right thing. Don't consider that those who are studying BA in economics are the ones they have complete knowledge. Even we have more knowledge. We have studied almost the same concepts. Even some of my friends have done BA in economics, and I have gone through their content or the subject material. It's almost the same, but we have an higher edge. Higher edge in the sense we have studied statistics, account, income tax. That is surely going to help in near future. So I believe BCom is a wise decision. BCom and MCom is a good combination for any person who have interest in economics.
Apart from this, I would also like you to elaborate a bit on when you say an economic analyst. So, I have this curiosity, and I think many children also. What is the job of an economic analyst? I mean, what does he do?
Okay. Economic analyst or the financial analyst, their job is to assess the financial condition or the finances of the company. What happens? The company generates revenue from various sources, and it
Right.
becomes really tedious for a single person or a owner to manage the entire thing. So they just don't have a single analyst. They have a team of analysts in which there is a head analyst followed by junior analyst. They work with a software. They have this accounting software because everything is done technically. There is minimum involvement of manual things now. Previously things were different, but now the
Yeah.
entire concept have been digitalized. So as you see, so they have to work through a proper channel or a proper software. There are a number of software designs, and it completely depends upon the organization that which software they are preferring depending upon their revenue generations.
Yeah.
Software varies from, they have to purchase that software in order to get their things done. So what happened when a person get into this thing as a financial analyst or economic analyst, there is a proper session or a probation period of 1 month. During this period, they were trained how to use the softwares, the required softwares to conduct the working. Because as a layman, you and I were not aware of the software. I just have the idea, but unless and until I practice that thing, I will not have a complete knowledge of this thing. So what happens? They were appointed for a probation of 1 month. For during this 1 month, they were taught how to use or how to work on that software. And accordingly, with the passage of time, they continue working on that software only, which helps in generating the final or the accurate results.
Right. One more question would be,
So,
I don't know whether it is related to this, but there are, like as teachers, when we teach grade 12, um, students who are commerce students, they do ask this question: company secretary,
hmm.
can who are these people? Who are? What do you mean by company secretary?
Company secretary, as the name suggests, they were assigned the post of the secretary only in a company. It's a recognized and a highly appreciated post. And in comparison to CA, CS is more easier because out of 6 papers, 5 papers are theory. Though they have to go through the articleship as well, but the
Mhm.
out of 6 papers, there is one practical and 5 theory papers. So their job is to manage the meetings, prepare the notes, and handling the finances as well. The secretary here does not define only just noting down the concepts. They have to
Yeah.
prepare the minutes, they have to figure out the things. Along with that, they are also involved with managing the finances and the finance related work of the company.
Okay. So that is what usually children wanted to know. What is company secretary? Is it like the secretaries that we
No,
actually?
no, no. Not at all. It's been concepted by seeing it in movies and everywhere, but the concept is completely different. They were
Yes.
not asked to dress up like a doll or something. They were dressed in a proper, sophisticated attire, and it completely depends on their choice only. And
Yeah.
along with maintaining, suppose if a meeting is conducted, out of everyone is discussing the thing. The only responsibility, this is the responsibility of the secretary, that he notes down the minutes. They actually help in preparing the annual report, preparation of the report along with the other financial perspective that is required or that is at their level. So they do
It's
all
a
this,
it's a
not
very
only just
important
noting down.
important portfolio. And if somebody gets into a PhD in economics, wants
Hmm.
to, so what are the best colleges in the world that they can apply for fellowship?
Fellowship, if you talk about fellowship, you can obtain fellowship from anywhere, even sitting at Lucknow. Sitting here, you can get the fellowship of Germany just by clicking on the link.
Oh,
It
that's
is, yes, it is as simple as that. There are a number of options available. There is one Indian Council of Social Sciences and Research. They provide fellowship. So you need not to run for better avenues or out of the country. You have to go out. If you have a wish to go out, then it's a good thing. But if you are aiming for a fellowship, then every country, I guess every second country is providing fellowship to a PhD scholar. What it requires, you just need to get yourself enrolled into a thing, and you need to prepare a synopsis. Synopsis is just a brief of the topic that you're planning to work upon. Suppose you are planning to work upon pandemic in India or something like this. So you just need to prepare a report of 8 to 10 pages, that what you actually analyze and what you observe. So you just need to have this, which is known as synopsis. So you have to upload a synopsis along with the fee receipt. Every scholarship is provided on these two grounds, that you should be a research scholar, you should have paid the first fee, a fee receipt, and a synopsis or an abstract of the idea that you have taken into consideration for your PhD. All these two things should be uploaded along with your initial or personal details. And within 7 days, you will get the response. So it completely depends on the accuracy of your work, that what you're planning to work and what you have highlighted in your synopsis or abstract. So this is the best way you can obtain. I suggest that this is the right time or the right thing, that sitting at home and that you are getting a scholarship from Germany or somewhere else, it's really easier. What happens, even some of the countries are providing this fellowship on the ground, that they'll ask you to visit their nation just for a month or two,
yeah, yeah.
and even it was sponsored. Not a single penny was spent. It's all sponsored. But it
Yeah.
just requires the awareness and updation of everything. But you need to be get updated because now everything is available on internet. But you should
Yeah.
know what actually you need to search. Don't search for random things. If you're aiming for Germany, just quote fellowships for research scholars available in Germany. You have n number of options. You can just go through them and find out which one is best for you.
Yeah, because like when we were growing up, commerce was supposed to be a subject. If you have no other option, then go for commerce, right? So I
Yeah,
think it's a very bad truth. It's a very, not a very nice thing to know. But in India, if you say, oh, she's taken up commerce or he's taken up commerce, it was like, okay, so he was not good for anything else. You know, like humanities, if you are not good for science, so you are just meant for humanities or commerce. But these days I feel that the scenario has changed. I think people are discovering that commerce is not that easy. It's
yeah,
not a left out option for people. It's a wise intelligent option. So
very
thank you,
much.
ma'am. Yeah, so thank you so much for taking out time. And you have answered the question so well. I would suggest those people who have joined us late, and especially the students who have been watching this, that go back to the entire recording and do understand what she has been trying to tell us. So it will, guide them. And ma'am, last thing would be like, you know, how economics can help a person, like in our day to day life. Isn't it important that everybody should have a little bit of knowledge of economics?
If I tell you a fact, you will be surprised, even when we were not aware, when we were not known to this subject has been a part of our life. Just for an
Yeah.
example, suppose when we were young or when we are at the initial stages, we went to the markets. We were offered two things. Suppose we are looking for a pen. One
Mm.
pen costs 10 and the other pen costs 5. So we always get fascinated toward the one which is at lower priced.
Yeah.
It happens with everyone. What happens when in a market two pens are available, one at costed at 10 and the other at 5? Most of the people are attracted toward the one which is of a lower price. This is where economics started. I and you were not known to this subject. I really have no idea what economics is, but there is economics. Lower the price, higher the demand. This is
Yes.
how it works. Now I have understood the concept when I came across this subject. Okay, this is the law of demand which has been working over the years, over the ages. Even our grandparents were doing the same thing. We were in the habit of bargaining. We were having in the habit of asking for the lower price. We prefer lower priced commodities over higher price. And some of the things we prefer only because of their higher prices. So this is all economics only. You need not
Exactly.
to understand the concept. It is already working around us. But if you have studied, you can figure it out. And those who haven't studied, they must not be knowing that they are already dealing with the economics around them.
I remember the book, The Wealth of Nations, written by Adam Smith.
Adam Smith, yes.
Yeah, and he mentions in that, like when we were hit with this pandemic. So his one of his things came out from the book, which I remembered, was that when a man is not able to control the growing population and the growing demand for things, and when things are going beyond his limit, then it is God who, through calamity and natural pandemics and all, tries to
Actually,
control. And this is an economist like Adam Smith gave the theory. So so thank you, ma'am. It was such a lovely discussion having you here. And once again, I think when the examinations are over, I would love to have you here again to advise our students and teachers as well.
definite.
Okay, thank
All
you.
my pleasure. It's an absolute honor talking to you and addressing to all. Thank you so much for inviting me and making me a part of this initiative. I wish you all the best. May you continue doing the same work and helping everyone. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, ma'am.